Little guy. Just a little guy. But we got him on the Z-Vibber. So as you can see, I've got a smorgasbord of goodies going on here for panfish. I've received several questions lately, but more specifically to how I've been fishing the Z-Vib from Euro Tackle. And with the Z-Vibber, all I'm doing is I'm casting out with a fixed float and popping it. Of course, I'm going to start off with a decent rod, and that's going to be a St. Croix Panfish series. Best rods on earth. What I love about this rod is the exposed blank right here. Now I like to team that up with nothing fancy, just a small Fluger try-on reel. But more importantly, I like to spool up with braid. 95% of the time I'm using braid. Spider wire, 6-pound test, perfect. When I do need a leader, I will go with Suffolk's 4 or 6-pound fluorocarbon, and that's only because the water is crystal clear and the bluegills are finicky. The Z-Vibber by Euro Tackle was introduced to us on the market about 2 years ago. What's really unique about this, and it's not that it's just obviously a micro crankbait, it's a lipless crankbait, which means you can cast and retrieve it or work it vertically as if you were ice fishing. It's 1/16 ounce in weight, and I don't know if you can hear that, but it does have rattles inside. It comes with a single hook, but when I'm bluegill fishing in the soft water, I like to switch out the single hook for a good quality like a VMC number 12 treble or a 14 treble hook. The single hook is perfect for crappies and perch, but for the bluegills, for some reason, that little treble hook works just perfect. Holy cow! Holy smoke! So when it comes to soft water period, I absolutely love rigging this up under a fixed or a slip float. Because the Vibber's weighted, this not only acts as a strike indicator, this also helps me keep the lure at that magical strike zone depth once I find it. So all I'm doing is I'm just casting it out. Let it sit for a second. Pop it twice. Pick up the slack. Pop it twice. Pick up the slack. And there we go. Just like that, mama. That's why my wife calls me Big Daddy. Of course, we all have our favorite tackle, and floats are absolutely no different. My whole life, I've always favored the pencil style float, and that's simply because it has a near zero resistance when it breaks the surface of the water, as opposed to the old beach ball style bobbers. But for the last decade or so, I've been using a loafer made by Dreenan overseas. What's unique about this, I can set this as a fixed float, and there's a hole at the bottom here where I can run my braided line and have it as a slip float. The only problem I have with using braided line is the traditional ties and the rubber stoppers don't work. The line is too small in diameter, it's too slick, and it just slides up and down. But a couple years ago, a good friend of mine showed me the Micro Smart Stop. It's a hard plastic stop. If I can get it out here. It's a one-time use, and it's pretty unique. There's a little thingy here to set it up on that thingy. You know that thingy of the thingy? So let me show you the thingy, and I'll rig one up on top of the thingy. That is a bluegill.
There.
Beautiful. That's the only thing that I can find that works on small diameter braided line. And did you notice one thing? I did not have to cut the jig off. With these old babies, you got to cut the jig off, feed the line through the hoop there, pull the stop onto the line, and then retie. With these, you just put the bobber stop on there, cut your fixed float silicone sleeve here, and you've got a slip float. That there is the cat's ass. So everything you see here is basically all my ice fishing, my hard water tackle. You can utilize it for soft water just as much as you can for ice fishing. I have my underwater viewing system. This I utilize just as much on the soft water as I do on the hard water. I find the Recon only holds a battery life of about 8 to 10 hours. So I called Markham and I asked him about the shuttle, if it could be adaptable to my Recon instead of a flasher. I couldn't get an answer quick enough, so I went out and bought one anyways. What's beautiful is you got the USB ports here. I take the charger, the wall charger for the Recon, I plug it in there, bang, 30 to 40 hours instantly. This is a valuable tool. This has taught me so much about the behavior of bluegills. It's an absolute asset to know how fish interact with one another and how they react to my specific baits. It helps me locate and verify fish, especially in deeper water. The information I get when spying with my camera literally is priceless. And the entertainment value, well, hey, that's a blockbuster 10 in my books. So if you haven't tried the new Z-Vibber under a float yet, what are you waiting for? Target my bluegills and my crappies using ultralight micro crankbaits under a slip float or a fixed float. Here are some of my favorites right here. I love that new popper, or well, it's not new, it's new to me, but I love this popper from Apollo when they're feeding on the surface. Those are awesome. But what I'm using right now is, I just caught that crappie on the new Euro Tackle Z-Vibber or Z-Viber, depending on what part of the country you're from. I don't know how it's actually pronounced. But it's a really small micro crankbait. It has a single hook, which I prefer for the crappies. But when I switch over to bluegills, I like to switch over or switch out the single hook for a quality hook like VMC round bend number 12 or 14, a really small treble hook. I find I get a better hookup percentage on bluegills with a small treble hook. But here's what I would use. That's what it looks like that I would use for bluegill, a little treble hook. If I were to put the treble hook on here for crappie, I would definitely go with a number 8, a number 10. I promise you, you're going to catch more fish. And you know what? It's a lot more fun than using live bait or even plastics. It's just another tactic, right?